All right, we're back here, episode 4, late night edition, Friday night edition of the Young Old Heads podcast. I'm your host, Tom. I'm one of your hosts, Tommy, aka TV Sports Cards. I'm here with my other co-host, Cards Max. Everyone knows him, you love him, or you absolutely are annoyed by him. It's Cards Max. What's up, dude?
You almost cut me out of the intro, claiming that only one host is in this podcast. But I'll remember that slight and I'll save it for later. I'm doing well. It's a Friday night. We're not a news podcast. We've got so much card news to talk about that there's just so much meat and so much just to get into that I am beaming with excitement to get
I
in
know.
on
Can
a
you
late
can you tell the
Friday
people,
night.
Max, where you are right now? What's going on? Where are you at?
I am in the Charleston Marriott, and whoa, what could I possibly be doing in the Charleston Marriott? I'm graduated from college, and before my graduation, I'm going on tour of the southern east part of the United States with the choir. I'm a singer. I have a soothing baritone voice, and I will put you to sleep at night.
Cards Max on tour. That's awesome, dude. I'm excited to hear about this tour. And next week, we're going to have to follow up and hear about some of these performances that you're
I'm
going to
going to
be doing.
sing many songs.
Many songs will be sung. Oh, that's great. Will cards be traded? Will cards be bought on this trip?
Probably not. I mean, I've been thinking about doing a little sneaky sneak getaway, but I don't know both there's the time and if I can fit some crazy show during the weekend. I feel like that'd be unlikelier than not. But I will dance the dance and attempt it.
Yeah. And Max, this actually, I wasn't planning on bringing this up, but I kind of wanted to touch on this right now if you're down to discuss it. You're a college student or a soon to be former college student who has been collecting throughout your time in school, and you've been home and at school, for the majority of that time, kind of going back and forth. What are some of the difficulties with collecting in two different zones and two different areas?
I'd say the biggest thing is taking my eBay inventory and moving it from New York, which is where I'm from, to North Carolina, which is where I go to, or may soon formally go to college. I drove down initially and I had a large 4,000 ish count box. I just made that, okay, that is all my eBay inventory and that is everything that I want to bring down. Other from that, I have my briefcase with lots of stickers, and I use that briefcase for shows. I carry the bigger guns down there to make sure that's ironclad to me at all times, or in my bedroom.
Mhm.
I've been thinking about keeping, or I've more actively have kept my higher end items at only Alt Vault, and this has just been to be immune from address changes and to not have to rely on United States Postal Service forwarding mail. And because I'm changing locations so often now, I've just had my PSA orders go to my alt address, which has very low to no insertion fees for graded cards. And that has been my way of managing my traveling and also making sure that there's as less clutter as possible.
Yeah, I always think it's interesting your situation because you're kind of like you're like the perfect case for the alt vault where like you're moving around a lot. It's kind of ideal for you to not even have to deal with having the cards in your hand.
Oh, I'm not that adventurous, but even then, it adds just a little bit of a convenience factor. And oh, okay, I really hope this $100 card it didn't fall under my bed after I move out.
Yeah, do you have any horror stories for the people back home to
I mean, I have had a very bad engagement with the United States Postal Service. I have lost my third set of packages in the past 2 months or so, and I might be given USPS a nice little mail theft claim under legitimate reasons.
Wow. All right. Well, we'll have to follow up on that on a future
Yes.
podcast. Well,
Officer, the
I
US Postal Service is not doing me any favors.
exactly. And your cards, Max, you have beef with the Postal Service, but you also host a weekly space on Twitter, right?
I do every
And
Tuesday nights at 8 p.m., although maybe not this Tuesday. I'll try to make it this Tuesday.
you got to make it happen. Come on, the
I
people
got
want
to make it happen. I'll be singing songs, so that
it.
might be
Okay.
a direct conflict.
All
But
right.
as
Well,
always, the weekly Tuesday space, it's always a fun time. There's always fun bar talk and banter and cardboard talk. Last week we talked about uncovering collections, what's it like to, have a friend, being the guy, all of us collect, being the guy who knows cards. It's just like, oh, can you take a look at this one? Can you take a look at this card? And what's it like having that sort of perspective. And we
Yeah.
also, at the end, I mean, we went on for 2 or 3 hours, talked about the importance of museum pieces. And when the coolness of the card and the rarity of a card outdoes any sort of like a card that just shows up in your hand and it's like all comps go out the window because of how cool it is and how rare it is.
Yeah, that I've had. I feel like everyone's had an experience like that where you come across a card at a show and you're like, I don't know what I don't know what this is worth, and I can't really even figure it out too accurately with eBay comps because there's not really anything close. But I just can tell that this is something that I'm not going to see again.
Exactly. If you walk out of the room, you're not going to see it for another 2 years.
Yeah, and that's kind of how I feel about a lot of like Clay Thompson rookie relics because something that I love, my favorite fun fact about cards and something that I learned when I got back into it is the fact that the 2011 NBA draft cards all have rookie cards in the 2012-13 product because of the 2011 lockout that pushed Panini decided to push all rookie cards to 2012-13. And sometimes I'll find people who are posting relics, Clay Thompson rookie card relics that they think are second years because of that weird mix up. And I always try to snatch them up. I especially have had luck with some of these multicolored game use patches. So those are the types of museum like not. I mean, they're probably only museum pieces to me, but like in my head, that's what
I want you to
my level.
spill the beans, take your heart out on your latest Clay Thompson pickup.
My latest one. Let's see. Latest one
The one that
was.
I'm thinking of.
Oh,
The
you're thinking. All right. So me and Max we've been talking lately about national treasures, and you texted me a thought the other day. I think it was about a week ago, and you're like, dude, I think low end national treasures rookie like RPAs are way too undervalued. And I'm like, dude, are you reading my mind? Like, I just bought a Clay Thompson national treasures rookie autograph. I mean, it's a dual autograph with Kent Bazemore, Warriors legend, but I was something that like I never imagined really having in my collection. For me, it's like a big thing to be like, yeah, I have a national treasures Clay Thompson rookie card. Is kind of like it's a pretty big feeling as a collector.
Yeah, maybe it's just my bias, but I just feel like Topps doesn't have, maybe Topps has Sapphire, but Topps doesn't truly have a brand where it's like instant cloud, instant like, oh Lord, this is like a holy grail. And I feel like with Panini, National Treasures is National Treasures. If you're thinking about the most valuable card of a player in existence, it's their vertical National Treasures logoman or RPA. So just digging into that, sure. But like once you get on being lower end, meaning lower end players, I mean, I have a few darlings that I like to try to prospect. But when you look at the ceiling, the financial ceiling that some of these out of 99 National Treasure RPAs have, and the initial cost being doable, sure, it's not pocket change, but doable to get in as an entry point. It's fun to it's a fun gamble and a way to put your heart in your sleeve saying that you are for a player.
Yeah,
And one that not many collectors may consider.
the ceiling is the roof with those, as they say.
The ceiling is Saturn.
The ceiling, okay. The ceiling is Saturn. Astronomy Max today. Astronomy Max. Um, no, what are some of the guys that you're talking about though that you've been buying up some national treasures of? Do you care
I,
to
I
mention?
was actively looking at Jordan Nwora of the Milwaukee Bucks. Plays for a strong contending team, obviously in the Bucks. Has really had sporadic minutes, but with those minutes, he has had explosive scoring outbursts. He has a few 20-point plus career games, and he's definitely shown the flashes of high upside that says, oh, this can be an NBA starter, or oh, this could be, I'm not going to say upper level NBA starter, considering he is a bench player on a championship team, but he is someone that's like, okay, I was actively looking at his vertical RPA from National Treasures. I backed off a little bit because I saw a few, 12 feedback and zero feedback bidders, but the ending price was, I believe, $330 on it. I didn't win it, but I'm like, even at that, I was like, okay, wow, this is for a player of his upside and for, how few of these cards are available. This is something that I feel like is uncovered just because no one's talking about it. And why would someone talk about it? Because there's so few of them.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where like most collectors are like, oh, national treasures. I'll never get a
Yeah,
national treasure.
exactly. It's too rich for me. I'm never going to afford it, and which is true for me with 99% of players.
Yeah, but like, dude, I can buy Clay Thompson national treasures rookie autographs for less than $200. That's like for most people, that's like if you're into cards at all, like you can like $200, dude. That's like if you save up your money for a few, like, no
Yeah,
matter
and
what you're making and
this
you're
is
into it.
a Grail brand and possibly like a PC centerpiece. National Treasures. The name speaks for itself. Maybe I don't like the flawless and the immaculate, the pish and the posh. It's not for me. I
Yeah.
want the treasure chest. I'm Indiana Jones and I'm hunting for autographs.
Yeah, and, so the moral of the story, I feel like, is, like, low-end national treasures, not as expensive as you might think, and possibly a fun investment, high upside.
At the very least, it's more doable than you think it is.
Yeah, and, here at the Young Old Heads podcast, we like to do something that, I feel like isn't really done that often in the world of, like, card content, which is, like, compare cross-sport products. And I'm gonna throw some questions out to you, Max, about it.
I'm
Why
ready.
is National Treasure such like a treasure, lack of a better term, like, why is there so much clout with National Treasures and not with a product, say, Topps Dynasty in baseball with, like, why aren't we talking about the Wander Franco logo man auto, and we're talking about the 101 platinum paper?
I think there's many different elements to this. To attack the first arrowhead, Tops doesn't have a consensus number one national, or maybe now it's growing to be Dynasty. But I want to say 2 to 3 years ago, there was, I'd say, both lesser interest in baseball logo mans than there is now. And also, you have Topps Dynasty, you have Diamond Icons, you have Tier One, you have Inception, you have the growing presence of Transcendent. There's so many big high end brands that it just dilutes it all. And I was just making fun of Panini for flawless, immaculate. I couldn't, as a baseball guy, I could barely tell you the difference between them. But as we're seeing now, the cream is rising, and that Dynasty is the number one brand. Why we're talking about the Wander Franco paper, one of one being pulled from Walgreens. Wow, that was this week. Pulling
It was
people.
not this
Was
week.
not this week?
Dude, that was like 2 weeks ago. Get
No
out.
way.
Where
No
is your brain?
way.
So much has happened.
That
But,
was 2 weeks ago.
well, why are we talking about it though? Why
Oh,
are
it
we
was
still talking about
April,
it? Why am I still
April,
bringing it up?
April 26th. So just barely last week,
All
April
right, all right.
26th. But with that in mind, we're talking about it because I think baseball collectors more strongly gravitate. Maybe it's just due to tradition, but the paper card. And look, not to say that people don't love autographs, but when you're opening a pack at Target or your gas station or your local card shop, we're used to paper. I feel like with the post COVID boom, which brought a lot of people in, is the flashiness, is the chrome, is the logo mans, is the memorabilia, and now we're seeing more and more that in modern day national treasures, you're not even guaranteed item from a specific game or player worn use event, whatever the mumble jumble legal speech on the back is. It's hard to fault a paper parallel. And when you think of I think honestly, when you think of basketball and football, is there an equivalent to flagship brand or flagship product?
No. I think that's like a pretty easy answer. Like, as someone, all right, so like as a Clay Thompson collector, I'm constantly looking at the transitional period of NBA products from when Topps had the license and it was kind of a wild west of whoever had it to Panini exclusive. And I kind of am more or less an expert, if you could say, in those years of transition. And it's just a weird time. It's like basketball doesn't have the continuity that baseball does. And that's kind of what I always say to people is like,
Yeah, the big thing with
paper
the
is being as
continuity,
as a
you have,
continuity.
you have 1952 tops and onwards.
Yeah, and I
One,
collect gold cups because of continuity. There's more continuity with gold cups than there is with the RC logo, and stuff
absolutely.
like that. And when I look into cards for Clay, I'm like, partially with him, I'm forced to collect weirder things because the lack of continuity, which is kind of fun. Like I can go after like, oh, these one-off kind of weird sets Panini did in 2013, 14, as opposed to like Buster Posey. I'm like, all right, I'm consistently going with his photo variation flagship paper cards. Those are kind of different games for me, and it keeps things fresh, honestly. And it's like I can collect both things in kind of a different way, but still get the same sort of enjoyment out of it. You get that?
I think collecting is a healthy medium of owning and possessing cards that speak for themselves, but also owning cards that are so nuanced and niche and particular that you have to explain the history and the uniqueness behind it in order for people to understand. There's the LeBron triple logo man speaks for itself. Crazy Clay Thompson rookie card with the transitions of licensing doesn't.
No. And that's what like I love. You know how much I love telling people about that niche stuff, and it's like with that weird panini stuff, I get what I love about finding out stuff about like my non-sport stuff. It's almost a similar sort of thought process I have with it where I'm like, all right, I'm going to search things that are really vague, like 2014 Clay Thompson on eBay and not even give like qualifiers on what I'm looking for and just kind of see what's out there. And that's kind of what I do with non-sport stuff too. I'm like a name and card or something on eBay and just like, let's see what's out there.
Yeah.
Let's see what's
My
up.
favorite thing is just searching by newly listed for a broad, like just typing in Mike Trout, or my favorite from this week, Mike Trout SP, and
Yeah.
just seeing what the newly listed stuff, what's fresh on the market, and I guess what's in people's hands that they're willing to move.
Yeah, like something well, I kind of like to do the opposite thing, almost the inverse, which is like search kind of an obscure guy that I loved growing up. Like I always do like CC Sabathia or like, well, CC Sabathia is not obscure. He's going to be a Hall of Famer, but like Dontrell Willis, he's a better example. Dontrell Willis and JT Snows, two guys I loved growing up. Sometimes I'll just Google just their names on eBay and I'll do sold list by sold highest and see like what's the most someone's willing to pay for
Oh,
kind of
that's funny.
obscure guy.
Seeing like the Grail equivalents of the past 3 months for a Dontrell Willis card.
Yeah, for like a dude that's not in the news at all, and not someone you would be like, oh, this guy's going to be worth hanging on to post retirement at all. Just kind of a fun thing I do. I have a couple things I want to bring up with you, Max, about this week.
I know
One of
that,
them,
Mr.
one of them,
Producer, you are fired up with topics to discuss.
dude, I am fired up. We haven't even hit the actual news that happened today. So, real quick, can you break down the Montgomery Club drama for the people?
So today, out of almost complete nowhere and no warning, Tops dropped Formula One Sapphire, Tops Formula One Sapphire Edition on Italy, Tops UK, Tops Germany, Tops Spain. I don't think I'm missing one. Tops France. So how this usually works with F1 and soccer products, they hit the Europe sites first, and then it'll come to the US. So I want to say at about 11:30,
Can you
11:10.
buy? Can we buy stuff from those stores in like the Tops France? Could I go on topsfrance.com and buy
Correct.
some? Can I do that?
You can.
You,
Only
you do that?
Spain requires a reshipper, to
Okay.
my knowledge. I think there might be one more, but Top Spain requires a reshipper.
Okay.
You can. I attempted real life, both in studying for a physics final exam, as well as having a professor interrupt me asking for a farewell selfie before I graduate. That halted my efforts of securing a sapphire box earlier today. And then after that, after let's say, 11:10, 11:30, US was expected to drop, because it's usually the same day, the F1 Sapphire boxes.
Mhm.
First thing to mention is that on the United States, I really wish I knew this number perfectly. I want to say it was $700 retail.
Yeah, I don't have these numbers,
It
dude.
was either $700 retail or $800 retail, which is significantly higher. I want to say 7 times higher than the price of a F1 Sapphire box last year. Normally, we don't see Tops respond so starkly in a year-to-year change, but I think with the F1 market, it was expected, at least somewhat, given just how meteoric the rise was, and that Tops doesn't want to leave stuff on the table. So not only was the boxes 7 times more expensive than what they were last year, this was ended up not being a Montgomery Club presale item. Topps made Bowman hobby boxes Montgomery Club presale allowable before Bowman's release day, but with the biggest and most highly anticipated product of the year, regardless of what sport you follow, for flipping, for collecting, otherwise, these were generally not falling into the collector's hands with the United States drop.
Yeah, and I think what most people were mad about is just the fact that they paid money and were kind of under this assumption that they were getting this exclusive access to all Sapphire products across the board, and now it seems like this just didn't happen. And I
Exactly.
don't know, there's a lot of
Topps
outcry about it.
Montgomery Club memberships for new members entering this year was $600 plus tax. And for a lot of people, they were getting it because for the past year or so, baseball products haven't been going out of stock in Montgomery Club presale, or they haven't been a battle with bots or scalpers or flippers. It's been mostly after soccer and Formula One, with Formula One having two products per year. You know, everyone loves Sapphire, and with Montgomery Club giving people at least a little bit of a time to be able to buy it and not have to worry about the general public, people felt betrayed. People felt that they weren't getting their money's worth. I've seen chargeback rumors, people taking it this, to court, or at least talking about taking it to legal action.
Can I read you a tweet from today?
Read me.
From a friend of the podcast, guy we hope to have on one day, Ryan Cracknell, whatever. I'm not exactly sure how to pronounce his last name, but
The
great
wisest man
guy.
out there.
What'd you say?
One of the wisest men out there.
Wisest men, certified best follow on Twitter. He tweeted, "If you're mad at a company, but then turn around and give them your money, the company wins."
This is true. Because for a lot of people, and what I've been, I tweeted satirically late this past evening that I'll buy Montgomery Club memberships on the secondary market if you subtract at cost, and if you subtract how much people profited from Top Series One First Edition. A lot of people are, upset, crying wolf, or some people are, F1 collectors. For people that legitimately are F1 collectors and wanting to get this box, I do have empathy. That is not most people, but I do have empathy for that collector base that thought that they were buying an exclusive pass to be able to buy their item directly from Topps.
And honestly, I know that this is something that I've been thinking about. Just like you personally know a lot of F1 collectors, I would say F1 in general is not a massively popular product.
I will
It
say
is,
the biggest thing is it's not a United States sport. The United States has one team and zero drivers. This is a product geared for international releases, and that's why international Topps websites get so much more. Topps has decided to give it so much more allocation.
yeah. And I'm just going to do another of our famous cross-sport analysis here. It's what I'm going to compare the F1 market to is a mixture of the golf card market and the soccer card market. You get the international aspect of it where it's not quite exactly how like the baseball card market works, but it's also the individual aspect of golf where you can get, it's very specific to players where individual guys get hot, individual guys win week to week. There's weekly events that are around the world. What are your thoughts, Max? Do you buy in on that cross sport comparison?
I think there's faith both in, because I mean with F1 it's not even just all driver performance related, because you can have a very bad car but perform well relative to the car. So there's an element of prospecting, but at the end of the day, if you're chasing the world champion, you know that it's only going to come from one of three teams. It's going to be Mercedes, or at least for this year, generally it's going to be Mercedes, it's going to be Red Bull, or it's going to be Ferrari. But everything else is prospecting, both on the outlook of other teams and the outlook of drivers performing well for those teams and possibly transferring.
Yeah, so it's more like soccer probably than golf. I think the soccer thing with like Holland isn't going to win the Champions League, but he's still, the hottest prospect in soccer, and he's going to probably move up and play for.
Talents wins, talents can transfer. I mean, with Holland specifically, there is a bit of a dampening due to him not going to play in as many World Cups in his career as someone from a better country. But prospecting is fun. Looking for talent is fun. And owning rookie cards of players before they're big and talented and whatever, that's fun. And that's what collecting is.
Yeah, that's what collecting is all about. And all right, let's talk about something for a second about,
Let's talk.
let's talk about cards and etc. cards. You know how cards are? You like cards?
I like cards.
That's what me and Max like to text each other sometimes. Sorry for this random side bit, but I'll just text Max.
Side bit.
Cards, just cards.
Cards.
Max, you have any shout outs you want to give out to people this week? I want to especially shout out to Gabe Cardstacks.
You took mine simply because that he is at KB Cardstacks on Twitter, is a self-proclaimed student of Cards University. And that is the mentality that I have with collecting, always learning from myself and my own mistakes, but also digging into what other people both enjoy, how other people flip or make money, seeing how every card has an inherent value, no matter how small or how big it is. That's always fun to poke at.
Yeah. Do you have any cards this week that you found out have value that you didn't know about before this week? I have a few that I wanted to bring up this week that I looked into this week.
I didn't have any in particular on diamonds in the rough, but I did go on a tiny binge, or not a tiny binge. I was having a lot of fun looking at opening day tops opening days image variations. To those that don't know, it's definitely very particular. As of this year, there's the general short prints that are with, and the short prints are cool looking cards. I cannot emphasize this enough. The best looking image variations for Topps flagship each year is from opening day. I know the primary short print has a print run of 250 copies, which relative to primary flagship, that's SSP level type of print run. SSPs, I believe, had a print run about in the 300 to 400s. With opening day, the main short print is about 250 copies. And then the dugout peaks, short print,
Those
which
are
is also
all right.
maintains the same framework as a base card, but just looks like an image variation. Looks, is an
Is
image
an insert set though.
has 100 copies for this year, and that is very, very low. Wander Franco has two. I mean, of course, he has the two big images of this. The 250 copies is him blowing a piece of bubble gum at the plate,
You
ready.
gotta just look this up. People gotta look this one up. It's
It,
the coolest card. It is.
it,
If I was gonna get one Wander card, it would be that one.
it's a very good looking card, and the only reason why I don't own copies of it is because I worry from a financial standpoint that people are going to forget. My one gripe with Wander's Dugout Peaks is that it is horizontal and it's rare. I don't think it's as cool.
No,
But
and
with
that's
that in
fine.
mind, I was looking at older years, because we're at May 6th. We're a month from opening day. Most of it has been opened or will be opened, or it's not as hot anymore. So I'm looking at eBay. I'm trying to find people. The high price first J premium is gone, but I've noticed I picked up a very cool 2019 Mike Trout dugout peaks. It is him kneeling with a bat in front of the dugout. It's really cool. And if you want to be a degenerate gambler, of course, with these low print runs, not only is the PSA population for gem and tens very low, but the quality control on opening day is always terrible. Off center, miscuts. There's just not a lot of quality control in this product relative to other Topps products. So it's something fun to gamble on. These are cool cards, and it's something that I'm buying for
Yeah.
fun, for value, etc., etc., etc. As you were saying.
All right. So me and opening day go way back. I was opening 2003 Topps opening day cards, opening up throughout my childhood. I
Yeah.
never pulled any of these because these started post my time. I did pull a printing plate from opening day once. That is like beyond the odds, but
How many one
I
of ones have you ever pulled?
just that one, just
Just
an
that one.
opening, just a Kelvin Escobar Angels pitcher printing plate 2005 upper deck or
Would you ever
2003
move it?
opening day. That's it.
No, I said, would you ever move it?
Oh, it's long ago. I had traded it to an Angels collector. Dude, I don't
Oh
want
my!
dude, come on. I don't need that. I
I,
have one
I
of
am
one now.
disappointed.
Not to flex on the
I
people.
have
I have $20 on
my
one printing
only one
plate.
of one is Estuary Ruiz from 2019 Bowman Draft. It is a non-first black paper parallel one of one. It was from my local card shop. I believe it was from a jumbo pack, and I believe I could be wrong on this. I think odds of that was like 1 in 5,000 packs, or is it 50,000? But I'm just gonna say 5,000. And I sent it out in a PSA bulk sub. I was thrilled that it got a PSA 8, and that is one that I am keeping. I'm probably knowing my luck. I'm never hitting a 101 again. I was shocked when I hit that, and that's going to be in my collection forever. So I can't say shame on you because your card's your collection and trading away a pack pulled one of one that you got. But I guess we just have different philosophies there.
Yeah, all right. So this is what happened. This is like one of the first dudes I met on Twitter, Jeff Westmoreland, and he's a good guy, and he is a huge Angels fan. And we were DMing a bunch, and I had just got back into cards, and we were just talking about it. And I was like, dude, like, I really needed money at the time, and I was like, I don't even really need to sell this to you. I'm just gonna give it to you. He bought like $10 worth of cards for me, and I threw it in with his order because I was just
That's
trying to be nice.
that's
And
pretty.
honestly, like it's more funny to me to be. It's more fun for me to be like, yo, you want to know what the only 101 I pulled was? Opening day 2005. Like, usually people get a kick out of that. I don't even really need to have a card. It's just
Yeah,
a funny anecdote.
it's true. It's a fun memory, and that's the most important part. I'm sure from an odds standpoint, I mean, 2005 opening day probably was not a highly printed product, and even then, there's not many hits, or very least serial numbered hits, or
Oh,
the
I didn't also, like, this is just another thing, like, I didn't know what I got. So, like, when I pulled it, I didn't know it was a 101.
oh,
I found
I
out
thought
it was a
you were
101, like,
was
2
after.
years ago.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, so, like, it wasn't the same
Oh,
experience. Like, I didn't
why is this metal card heavier?
I probably didn't even think about it. Like, I was just like, anything thick was dope. That was everything went in binders for me, dude. I was like, all right, you wanna know some
Yeah,
weird shit about
no,
how I
we're making
approached
that.
cards when I was a kid? This is like some alien thought process with cards. I was like, all right, everything everything that's thick is the best card. Anything shiny is whack. Shiny is cheap. That's what my thought process was as a child. Crazy thought process. I like told my dad not to buy me Chrome, basically. So that was terrible decision making. But the other thought process was anything where a guy's stats didn't show at least one full season meant it was a rookie card. So that meant 2012 Trout base card, rookie card. That meant like LeBron James SI Kids high school card, better than the LeBron James Topps rookie card due to it being earlier. And that was my whole thought process. I had like a Beckett price guide that my dad bought me probably in like 2005. And I was like, oh, my cards are worth like $0. So I was like, oh, I'm just never going to check the values again. And I never did really until
I
like
mean,
a few years ago.
I'm trying to avoid the pun as much as possible, but it is an unadulterated way of viewing collecting. You don't have social media, you don't have outside influences telling you how to collect, or let alone what contributes to value, what contributes to an earlier career card, and it's significant. What is it? Not value. What is a more significant card? And the way that we have this thought process in our own heads, saying no, this is more significant than that because of the high school stats in the back.
Yeah. And I love that we have a similar thought process with this, I think, because independently we've both come to this understanding that like the earlier card is cooler. You want to talk about this in another time, but just touch on it for a sec. Why you like minor league cards, minor league team issue cards.
I was about to get into minor league cards, even if you weren't going to prompt me on that.
Good.
So, what I don't like, and I recognized this when I got back into collecting as a young adult, I want to say when I was 19 or 20, is that this was in particularly strong with a player like George Valera, who I want to say is in double or triple A now with the Indians, a surefire top 100 prospect. And he's someone that I wanted to buy since 2019, and he's just now being released in 2022 Bowman. And the reason that one didn't happen is because the agent had disagreements with Topps, and the agent wanted a higher price for Valera's signature. But ultimately, highlighting that when a player is entered into a Bowman product, it's an airbrushed logo and it's arbitrary and it's entirely in Topps' control. I'm gonna dig into the nitty gritty. Let's get into like stadium club team sets. And I'm looking through my Yankees and I'm like, okay, who are some cool guys that I can go after? Okay, Gleyber Torres has an Iowa Cubs card from 2015. And aside from Elite Extra Edition, which I mean, there's no logos in there, or yeah, there's no logos because it's Panini. So this is
Gotta
what
have Elite Extra Edition though. Just
shout
shout
out
out.
to the extra edition, because that is a true collector diehard prospect product. If you are into that, you are into that. That is a more often than not. At least credit to that product for having players in as soon as they sign their international signings.
I love chasing my PC guys Elite Extra Edition first cards. Those are like searching for Buster Posey Elite Extra Edition 2008 cards. That's my shit. That's my shit.
Oh, I think I want to say, I mean, I know it's a joke. Oh, I pulled this from a Walgreens pack, but I think in like 2019, I got open a Walgreens hanger and it was like a Charlie Blackman Elite Extra Edition base, and I was like, dude, this is so sick. This is like this is probably like his first card ever. And I googled it, and it's like $5, and I'm like, sweet, that means the pack's a break even.
Dude, all right. On the Young Old Heads podcast, we have nothing but respect for Walgreens hangers and all products that Walgreens puts out. Walgreens is for the people, and that's what we are for.
I don't like it when they charge above suggested what used to be suggested retail price. And I don't know if it's geographical bias because most of these repacks are Fairfield Company,
Yeah.
and part of the I don't know. Do you get Fairfield Company out in Chicago and out west in
Yeah.
California?
Yeah. Yeah. We do.
Okay, it's not just a Northeast thing.
No.
Okay, whatever. But I would think Fairfield would be based in Fairfield, Connecticut. Maybe they are. But regardless, I thought the cooler packs were the ones of that they have two or so mystery packs inside of a certain
Yeah.
product, whether
They
that's
are better.
2019 Series 1, Allen and Ginter, whatever,
Yeah.
Archives, even though Archives isn't that cool. Blast from, mixing up some different years and not always, usually there's a junk wax pack in there.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, I don't have to drive half an hour to Target. I don't have to camp out. Camping out in Target was fun. That's my hot take.
You did that? You did
Oh,
that?
oh yeah. I was a big proponent of that.
Oh my god, dude! Of
No,
course you were.
so I
You
was
grind.
no, yeah. I'm a nitty gritty. I'm a little,
Respect.
I'll meander. I'll munch. No, I mean, no. Should I talk about Target? Target's very
No, no, you didn't finish your thought about the minor
I
league
didn't finish my
cards.
first thought.
You
But
finished. You
I mean,
stopped
back
me
in the
when I
day, I mean,
sidetracked you.
2015, 2014 car, if a card is from, a pack is from several years early, it's on clearance. And I just thought it was kind of cool because, like, dude, that pack is like 3 years old. That's 3 years older than the new one. I want to go get that one. So you do get a little bit of taste of you, even though, the value isn't killer, it sometimes makes for a fun collecting experience. And that's not knowing what you get is part of not knowing what you get.
Yeah, and also just like touching on the minor league card thing, like it's
Yeah.
just another thing to collect that's unique and cool and like is very condition sensitive as you like. It's like these are given out at minor league games to as promotional things.
Yeah, or in the team shop, you pay
Yeah,
$10 to get. And I remember I went to like the Paul Tuckett Sox, and it's like, yep, you buy their pack of 30, and there is like a second year Runzi Castillo card in it. And I'm like, sweet, I guess. Let's get into it. But I like that also there's like a more clear cut, at least from my collecting significance scale, there's more clear cutness and like, okay, well, I'd rather have like a single A card than a triple A card because that's newer. I mean, excuse me, that's older. That's harder to find. The player, and fundamentally, the player was appreciated or less heralded at a lower level. Therefore, less of its cards were likely preserved, therefore making the card even more special.
if if baseball was soccer, would that single A card rookie ball team card be the best card potentially?
Potentially, yes. I like the way that soccer collectors do things, or at the very least, this new wave of soccer collectors. Because Holland is a very interesting and easy to talk about example. You have Topps and Panini putting a rookie card logo on his final cards that were ever produced by both companies. I want to say in Panini Immaculate, which has a rookie card shield, as well as Topps UEFA Champions League Sapphire. Both have rookie card logos. Both are with Holland's second team, and both are after that season had already ended. But when you look at, also a big thing with soccer, stickers, way more important at an international scale, way more easy to produce, and therefore, if it's easier to produce, you can do it while players not as important and less nationally well known. There's the sticker versus card debate. I know with Holland, the foosball sticker is the biggest thing, and it's the biggest thing because it was first. It was first by a good bit.
Yeah, and that's another thing why you like what you bring up with non-sports cards. And I think this is the topic I kind of want to transition to end on if you're down. I've been looking into Childish Gambino / Donald Glover rookie cards this week.
Yes, and my
So
challenge of that, Donald Glover is esteemed in many different acting, sing,
oh,
obviously music.
probably the most respected guy between us. We love Donald Glover. We come on the podcast, Donald Glover.
I like because of the internet. I like his music. It's good music. I'm a very harsh critic of music. Maybe that's its own segment, but I'm okay with Donald Glover.
Yeah. All right. Well,
But part of the challenge of that, was okay. Donald Glover has done so many things. I'm like, okay, does he have cards with 30 Rock? Does he have cards with his sketch group Derek Comedy from when he was in NYU? I wanted to push the boundary because what was the card that you were getting? I want to say it was a 2018 card.
yeah, it's 2018. It's from the solo Star Wars movie that he's Lando Calrissian. So it's Lando Calrissian but it's like Donald Glover as Lando Calrissian cards. Those are the ones that I'm
And
buying.
the instant thought of when you showed that to me was like, okay, 2018, that's pretty new. Like, how far can you push back in Donald Glover's
Yeah,
career?
but guess what, dude? There's a Topps Finest Super Fractored Lando Calrissian Donald Glover card. There's a
Oh,
Super Fractor.
next you're going to tell me there's a Pete Buttigieg printing plate, 1 of 1.
No, but dude, think about it. Dude. You can't hate on the Super
No,
Fractor
I'm
as
not.
an option.
And super, we've discussed this back on episode 2 when we were talking about the premier rookie cards and cards that speak for themselves.
Yeah.
The Super Fractor is the #1 rookie card, and even if it's a non-sport card, you see it, you drop an awe. Panini tries to copycat it with gold vinyl. Yeah, I would be very interested in seeing how much that Donald Glover Super Fractor is worth.
Yeah, and another guy that I was buying cards of this week. Well, first of all, sorry, you sidetracked me. Your gold vinyl thing, you gotta watch the Ludex. Go to Ludex on social media at the real Ludex and watch the reel from this week about the gold vinyl Tim Anderson that we had in the office. It was pretty.
That one is worth watching. As a non-Ludex employee, that one is worth watching.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's a good one. But going back to rookie cards and such of non-sport stuff. So like I was buying a similar one. I bought a card this week that I have not told you about, I don't think. And I bought it from a future guest of the podcast, Playboy Cards on Twitter and
Future
Instagram.
guest.
Did I tell you this? Did I tell you about this card that I bought from him though?
I don't think so. I know he always has great cards.
And this touches on like, all right, for non-sports cards, even if it's not necessarily their first card, but if it's their first sick card, like very cool, like parallel type card, and it takes precedent, I bought a Killmonger Michael B. Jordan PMG from 20, I don't remember the year, but I bought it from him and it was less than
2007 or 2007? Or like 2017. I don't know if you were saying 2017 and just said 27.
Oh, did I say 27? 2017 is what I meant.
Okay, yeah, you just said 27. I didn't know if you meant 2007.
No. Michael B. Jordan was not getting Killmonger PMGs in 2007, unfortunately.
So what, now you're begging the question, what is his first card?
I honestly, I think it is. I think that might be his. Or like it's a Killmonger card of some sort.
But I mean, precious metal gems are big cards with a big brand and a lot of big clout.
Yeah. And that's like a thing where even if someone has, let's say, an SI Kids rookie card from 2 years before, for Chloe Kim's a good example in Goodwin Champions right now, and Michaela Schifrin, the skier.
Yeah.
She's the GOAT skier for women. She has cards in Goodwin Champions this year where she has like RPAs, rookie patch autos, and like exquisite stuff in there. And she has cards before they're in SI Kids, but like those nice premium pack pulled cards are going to be her main attractive cards going forward, regardless.
Absolutely. Part of the scary thing is that especially with marketing, it is a bit arbitrary. Like for Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, the Bumblebee University of Miami football card is seen as the rookie card, even though it's not affiliated with WWE. I don't know the original distribution of the card. Do you? Can you fill
it's like definitely like a Miami program or something.
Yeah, I think it had.
You got if you're a booster or something.
Yeah, it was some. I think that was with the autographed cards. I'm not even sure with the base, but whatever. There's definitely viewers that are way more knowledgeable in this than I do. I don't collect.
We'll have on some non-sport or not non-sport, but like the experts in this topic.
Yes, but point being, it's arbitrary on what cards from a lower brand or earlier brand are seen as significant and which ones are just ignored and outcasted.
Yeah, and I mean, I think we talked about a few good like test cases of that. But do you want to go through your recent buys on eBay before we close it up here?
Yeah, it's not many. Actually, I think I have two recently. It was the aforementioned 2019 Mike Trout dugout peaks. Mm-hmm. I got it for way lower than my maximum bid, so I'm happy about that. Nice. It's a cool looking card. I am unofficially starting the trend being PC Trout. So
people are tagging you on Trout cards on Twitter now. You buy Trout cards.
I'm pro baseball cards, and Mike Trout is the face of baseball cards, and he's the face of baseball, and he's going to be the face of baseball for several years.
I actually got a Trout card added into my trade with my guy Andrew. I got a Chrome Gold Cup en route now.
You
Just
need to share all the knickknacks that you have because it's too many and in too many different domains to keep track of.
what all my collections. One day we'll do an hour-long pod where I just list off all the different
Yes.
PCs I have, and then people will fall asleep
A,
listening to it.
a bonus episode for the boosters.
Yeah,
And the only other item that I bought in the past week was tonight. I was on the bus to Charleston, South Carolina. I am searching BGS 95s, auctions ending soonest. I see a Fernando Tatis Jr. X Fractor BGS 95, no subs. I quickly check comps. I go for the bid. I get it, and I'll see if this is a crack candidate because that's what's been my cup of tea lately. I am not unique in cracking BGS 95s, hoping for PSA 10s, but the margins are there. It's something for me to do. And when I get home in New York, there's going to be a nice pack, nice BGS 95 subless Fernando Tatis waiting for me in my mailbox.
that's awesome.
Nice commencement present to myself.
I love seeing the progression, dude, where you're trusting yourself more with like what you're doing, and I love to see it because like whatever 6 months ago you probably wouldn't be doing that, would you?
I both don't know if I would have grown enough for the capital to where I would have been fine holding that stuff up. I don't. I mean, because look, I've had some pretty bad cracks. Everyone knows my CSG
You are
9
literally famous for the bad crack.
my CSG 9.5 to PSA 3 Juan Soto Gold crossover. Um, the card was not damaged during the cross, but that's demoralizing to anyone. And I picked myself up. I'm still
Dude,
trusting. It's part of the fun.
no, if anything, that's just part of your origin story now of like
The
being a
villain
collector.
origin story or the hero?
That's
Time will tell.
they say you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain, Max. That's what they say.
They do. What are your recent eBay buys?
Uh, just a bunch of Donald Glover. I bought a 2010-11 Donruss Fans of the Game Justin Bieber card from a hockey
Okay.
release.
Doesn't Justin Bieber have his own set?
Yeah, he has his own set, but I think that this card is his first like insert in a sports set.
Okay.
Which,
I
all right,
mean,
weird side note as like a non-sports card collector, I love collecting the Fans of the Game cards that they've put out throughout a bunch of different sets and series, and different companies have put out different variations of the same sort of thing, where it's like a celebrity fan of a team and it's an insert in a set. I love doing stuff like that. Like the Michael Phelps 2004 is a sneaky first autograph, is a Fans of
mhm.
the Game in a football product, and actually has a Ravens logo on the card. He has an SI Kids, and he has actually like an international release as well from before 2004. But in terms of pack pulled autos, there's actually, I mean, the first one goes for like less than $1,000. This is one of the greatest athletes of all time. His first pack pulled auto goes for less than $1,000. It's like, does that make sense? I don't really know. That was just kind of a random tangent, but like that's a card I think that's like that's a 5-figure card in my book. Like if the cards that are going for 5 figures, like you're getting like
Museum piece.
relics with no game associated with them.
Exactly. It just what it speaks to what is something viewed as a commodity and what is used as something that's staying in a collection.
Yeah. And that's my whole thing with non-sports cards. It's like, what are these things? What are these people and like celebrities and politicians and just general figures, historical figures who have rookie cards out there and no one's looking, and like you can buy them for possibly less than $100,
I
and
agree. That is fun.
it's fun. It's
I
fun,
know
and
you've been
that's
on the
my
chess
thing.
stage lately
It's
as well.
yeah, and the problem that you have with it, and the problem that's very legitimate, is like there's no continuity, and there's no like I could present you with a bunch of random non-sports cards, and you wouldn't necessarily know how they all fit
I'm
together.
fine with no continuity. It just has to make sense. Or the very, just because I brought it up with chess, I want to say some of the grandmasters are individually licensed with Upper Deck and Goodwin Champions, which is why there's no license. I mean, some of these, it's chess. Not every, sports card product is reaching out to sign a chess player,
I
but
think it's
it
easier.
does, it's sporadic.
Yeah, it's golf's honestly similar in like the 2010s, where like some guys still don't have rookie cards that have won majors, and like Jason Day was like #1 player in the world for a year, and his only card ever made was a SI Kids card. And it's like a dude that if you followed golf at all in that time period, he was like the hottest guy. He was the hottest prospect. He was like 19, 20-year-old guy like breaking it on tour. It's like the fact that they never capitalized on that and created like a young guns of golf for Upper Deck is something that I've constantly been. I'm maybe one of the few people in the world that are annoyed about this, but like the fact that they didn't continue that past 2001, the young guns rookie cards for golf, it just frustrates
This is my first time hearing that Young Guns rookie cards existed for golf.
me. Yeah, and they do, but they're like there's not a Tiger, a young gun. There's like important guys who don't have them. Phil Mickelson's a guy who didn't get a card until his like 13th year on the tour. I don't know how many people are that interested in my golf rants, but like golf is the weirdest one in terms of rookie cards and the most comparable to like non-sport stuff because of how weird it is in terms of like releases and stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
And I'm going to stop boring you, Max. Do you have anything else you want to talk about, dude, before we finish? It's good to see you.
No, I enjoyed going so into so many little nitty gritty things that we didn't even touch some of the biggest headlines and cards today.
Yeah, we started off this pod saying, "Yo, there's a bunch of news. We got to talk about it," and then proceeded to barely talk about any of it. Oh, dude, that's why I love talking.
But we're picking at each other's brains and bouncing ideas off.
Yeah, I kind of hit you with these cross sport analysis that I kind of made you go into. So that's
I'm loving them.
Oh, I know you love those. So, yeah, I think there will be cards in our future. Everyone should go. I'm gonna do real quick. Everyone go to ludex.com, ludex.com. I work for that company. We're a startup in the hobby, and I wrote a lot of the website. And I'm just really proud of how it turned out. And I want people to find out about what we're doing. It's all about giving more tools to people who are trying to get into cards, and also people that are into cards and helping them, with their collections and figuring out what you have and being able to take it with you in more places, lowering the barrier for entry and increasing, lowering something that you talk about, Max, which is like how hard it is to liquidate your assets in cards. Make it easier for that.
Agreed.
And other things that I want to plug are Max's space on Tuesday nights, which might not happen this week.
I'll try to get it done, but I'm not optimistic. We might have a reschedule. Follow at CardsMax on Twitter for updates.
Yeah, CardsMax.
A bunch of
CardsMax is a brand.
as well.
I want to give a shout out to a good friend of the pod, Charles LeBonge, who's going to be creating a logo for the pod this week, and we're really excited about how that's going to turn out. So stay tuned for merch, for Young Old Heads merch and stickers. And so shout out Charles for that. You can find me at TV Sports Cards on Twitter and at TV.sportscards on Instagram. I'm going to be starting making Sporkle quizzes based around cards. So follow me, TV Sports Cards on Sporkle, if you know what's up.
Yeah. Okay. Totally not feasting for clout there.
Wait, how many different platforms can I promote myself on, Max, before the end of the pod? That's the goal.
I don't know. Do you have an Etsy?
Nah, I mean, you could plug your eBay store. Do you have anything? You have any auctions ending this week?
Etsy. That's not, do you have a, Pinterest you can plug?
No, wait. This actually could be cool though. You should say what like eBay auctions you have or like stuff you have up for sale on your eBay.
My eBay and my slabs are both on vacation mode because I'm traveling.
All right, well that makes sense. You
But,
can't. CardsMax can't truly
sounds
do
like
it.
A fun segment though. What am I auctioning right now?
Yeah, CardsMax auctions.
Yeah.
How much? What cards is Max gonna lose money on this week?
Is Tommy gonna flip a card?
Yeah, I actually admitted to the timeline for the first time today that I flipped some Jordan Poole cards, and people were really accepting of it, and I appreciated it because I didn't flip them for dirty greed. I flipped them for the good of the hobby. No, I'm just kidding. Obviously, I love anyone who's flipping cards for money. I do it, and I just bought another card.
To care.
What'd you say?
I don't think anyone keeps track and pocket watches other people's flips for them to care.
Yeah, it's the whole like you're the center of your own universe. No one else cares what you're doing.
Yeah, I'm the main character in mine, and you're the main character in yours.
But I will say that I do love watching people's collections grow on Twitter. Like the Shy card collector or whatever. The guy who has the White Sox cards, Kevin, he's a great guy. I remember I followed him before he had really any cards, and now this dude has like one of the coolest White Sox collections I've ever seen. It's cool seeing that growth it's like cool seeing someone build a collection and post it like throughout the weeks.
Agree. Grow.
you have any guys like that you've seen on Twitter who like you remember them seeing out like really young, like really start out small and grow pretty quickly?
None that I haven't already shouted out. I'm trying to think. I can't just shout out the same people all the time.
No, don't shout out the same people all the time.
No.
I'm gonna give it one shout out. I want to give to is the guy at Harris HTV something guards.
Oh, how can I love Harris?
Yeah, Harris
I
is a
don't know
great guy.
him too much, but I do like. I do have respect for Harris.
No, Harris is a great guy, and I like saw today Harris posted like a picture of like his case, and I was like, damn, Harris, that's like a dank case, dude. Like, I feel like me and him kind of started at similar, like, really kind of like not much nice stuff. And now it's like, oh, I see him posting like some pretty sweet slabs. I'm getting in stuff every day that like I couldn't really imagine having before. It's fun growing in cards, dude. I love cards.
I love cards.
I fucking love cards. All right. Well, this was a fun this week, and people don't know, but it's Friday night at 11. Max, it's actually Saturday morning now.
It's 12:18 a.m. I've got to be up for choir, singing at the church at 10:30. I think call is 9:40.
And that's why we're old heads at heart, but we're still young. We can still do this at night.
No, we're going crazy in Atlantic City.
Heck yeah! Stay tuned.
Heck.
Young Old Heads podcast in Atlantic City coming this summer. All right, everyone, stay safe. Stay ripping those cards that are in your closet that are sealed. Rip them, please, this week.
And